seems like, and then this family, I want to point out who this, okay, his name is Shipman.
Yes.
Shipman.
Is that the guy who owns that boat?
The guy who started the whole thing, yes. The guy who owns the boat. This is why I say, come on now. There's too many coincidences. When there's this, then when there's so many coincidences, perhaps somebody staged part of this. I think that the European family, at least the Shipman guy, is also a high-ranking Mason, and probably as high as the co-captain or higher. This is all allegedly. Allegedly, this guy could be a high-ranking Mason, Mr. Shipman who drives ships.
Yes.
Who gets in a ship fight on the water. Right before we get into school, and we're going to have a bunch of other distractions, and right in August, that they call August a high month for Black people or something. Right next to the Harriet, like he knew for sure. I heard that they were also commemorating an event for the slaves that were brought to this particular dock. There was like a whole bunch of slaves being brought here. It was a significant amount, and it was so significant that it goes down in history as, okay, I think that there was so many people being shipped over here or being sold here that they had to have holding quarters for the slaves or something like that. There was a big number of people being shipped from here.
Okay.
So Mr. Shipman probably came over here because he knew that this was a day where the Americans are already in high spirit. When I say Americans, I'm talking about Black people, but maybe I'll just say Black and white, so I'm not confusing everybody. So I don't like to say it. It even kind of, it does hurt me. It hurts me somewhere in here to call myself Black and to call other people Black. So anyway, I'll do it. So he knew that this was a high day for Black people, being that they were commemorating the slaves being sold there. It's a significant slave port. The ship is called the Harriet. He sees all these Americans or these Black people of whatever nationality they are, but majority being American, North American. He sees all of them everywhere. He's seen that ship. He's seen the what do you call that? A liner. What do you call the big boat that the Americans were on? The Black people were on?
Oh, I don't know.
Whatever it was, the boat liner, a ship line. I don't know what you call it. But the Harriet too. He's seen the Harriet too out there with so many hundred people there on that boat. He went over here more than likely to provoke something. That's why I say it was intended. So I say for him, it was certainly intended. And this should be a hate crime. I heard that they were yelling out nigger and a whole bunch of racial slurs and cuss words and all that. And then they all jumped on this guy. And they did it on this, what is almost like a holiday or some type of significant day for Black people. This should be a hate crime. It should be a felony. And it should be inciting a riot. They knew what they were doing. Maybe not all the members of the family. Maybe not. But that Shipman, this uncommon name Shipman who drives ships. Yeah, I just say that he knew what was going on and that he agitated this, and it was intentional. It was racially motivated. It was a hate crime. He should be prosecuted to the fullest. However, it was not just him that set it up, is what I'm thinking. It was probably his organization that set it up. And perhaps that the co-captain was also in the same organization. So even if he didn't get the word that, hey, we're going to start this little, confrontation and, just act, even if he didn't get the word, which he might have, even if he didn't get the word, he would have recognized a fellow Mason. If I can recognize a Mason, I can recognize about where he's at, and I'm almost always right. I ask them, and they tell me, oh yeah, and if I can guess it, then a Mason can guess it. And so then if you're involved with a Mason and then you're about to go to punching with Masons and their family, you probably know, hey, perhaps this is a ruse, a ruse. how you say the word, and you know, so we're not really going to fight each other for real. So I'm just going to talk to you and clap like this, and I'm going to toss up my hat after you punch me. I'm going to toss up my hat and look like this, like you're not going to knock me cold out, and then you know, and then I'm gonna fight you one on one instead of fighting the whole crowd. If the whole crowd of you are attacking me, then I'm gonna attack the whole crowd, and then this should be considered deadly violence. When I watched that, there's a channel on this YouTube that is called Active Self Protection, and I think they do a lot of good work as far as, I mean, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but going off of what they say, whenever I see there's a disparity of force and a disparity of numbers,
yeah,
and a age disparity, that like there's a difference in all these. One on how many? 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if that's 6 or 7. One on 7, one on 8. When that happens, one on 8, it might be able to use deadly violence. When it's age disparity, where the co-captain, the American or the black guy, is over 60 years old, he has a bunch of young men fighting him. Then now you have the age disparity. Now you might be able to use deadly force. Then you have the what was it? These are stronger people, you know. And so when you have, they say what, 2 factors, then could be considered him being in danger of death or great bodily harm. I am not a lawyer, but just from looking at these other shows where they talk about, hey, this is an instance where you could use deadly force to defend yourself. This looks like one of those instances. So then, this should be maybe not attempted murder, maybe not, but they were using deadly force, and I really want to emphasize that. And why would you do that? Why would you do that, knowing that there's so many black people around you? Like, really, you think nobody's going to do anything about it?
That's why I think it was orchestrated. That's why I think they're both Masons, and they were or paid crisis actors, and that's why you don't see any blood. That's why nobody's pulled out any assault weapons. I really think they were crisis actors who were paid to stage this whole fake scene. And as a matter of fact, I think that hat toss was a cue. If you look at the way he tossed the hat up and stood and looked, to me, it was cue the actors. Here we go. On your mark, set, go. Let's go. That's the way I saw it. Now, if it's real, like what you're saying, then yes, I believe that, you know, it was deadly and that it should be a hate crime. But in 2023, it's kind of hard for me to really see people trying to, around election time. You know, and it happens every year, something racially motivated, not every year, but particularly every election cycle, something racially motivated kicks off. And mark my words, as time comes out, you and I are the first persons that I know of that's speaking openly about this, questioning it and saying on our social media platforms, this may be staged. It could be a false flag event. Now that we have set the precedent, other people will start speaking out. It's going to come out who the crisis actors are. Mark my words. It's going to come out. Somebody's going to break down the numerology. Somebody's going to show the real pictures of these people, just like they did with the GF situation, George Floyd. So go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to say again about the deadly force. So not only could this co-captain have used deadly force, if this was real, or even if it was staged, what I see, what I perceive is what really matters. Because I think it's staged. The evidence points to where to it possibly more than likely being staged. But no matter what it was, whether it was a scene out of a movie, if I seen this as a bystander, if I'm correct, if I'm watching these shows and I'm hearing what these lawyers are saying, and these lawyers are telling me the correct thing and I'm interpreting it correctly, then a bystander can use deadly force to protect that man. As in, a bystander could have pulled out a gun and shot those individuals to stop them from causing death or great bodily harm to him. And then there's a body of water right there. They could drown him.
And that's why I think it was staged. I think it was like a movie set, honestly.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
if somebody would have done some deadly damage for real.
Now, if it was one of my relatives, we're
Thank
gonna
you.
have some. We're gonna have some serious problems.
Mhm.
We're gonna have some serious quick problems, right?
Right, right, right.
So what did he not have any relatives there?
Mhm.
I mean, he had his crewmen. Now, here's the thing: the crewmen are the ones who a lot of them were the ones who did the retribution. Fought the people back. The crewmen are the ones that came and fought the white people for fighting the black man 8 against 1.
Right.
Now I hear that there's a different relationship between a captain and a crewman than
Mhm.
there is from regular workers and a manager.
Okay.
Now I don't have that loyalty to the managers, that the different what you call them, the employers that I've had. If they
Mhm.
got jumped, I would stop the fight. I wouldn't want to go and beat up everybody who fought them. I would try to stop the fight. I probably would, but I don't have the same loyalty that, hey, no, you need to pay for this. But I hear, a captain and his crew is a very close group. I think about the pirates and all those pirate movies. They're
Yes.
really, really close. Yeah, that's the closest I've seen to a captain and his crew.
Okay. Can we go on so we could
Yeah,
keep
yeah, yes. Let's do it.
Thank you so much for sharing that. And for everybody joining us, my name is Dr. Kia Pruitt. This is my son, Douglas Edward Lattimore II. He has his daddy's full name and my full face, but his daddy's inner. He is who we call a scholar. He's a very quiet young man, but he does study a lot. He reads a lot. He read the law, different law books about law. He read a lot of books on the art of war. And I sometimes wonder if he was some type of military general in his past life, because he's always talking about war. He is a vegetarian for the most part. He eats well, and he is the healer in our family. So when people are pregnant, and we've had people who were actually, were about to lose their babies, they called my son to cure them. People who are needing to lose weight, they called my son to cure, or should I say, you're not allowed to say cure, to heal them, but I'll say cure them. He kept his father alive for many, many years because his dad was sick with heart disease and some other ailments. And he was the one that kept his father alive when they kept saying his dad's heart is only functioning at a very small, like 10%. He kept his dad alive for 2 decades. So he's a phenomenal gentleman, and I'm just so honored and thrilled and proud to be his mom. You will hear from him more in the future, and you will see his Facebook and YouTube channel and his Rumble channel in the future. So you ready, son?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for that. Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome. Let's get to it.
Let's do it.